My name is Lex Librero, and I am host for this FICS chat, FICS chat. Kaya, saan kaya natin ninakaw itong pangalan na ito? Mahirap banggitin ito. Well, incidentally, I wish to greet all Filipinos. Happy Ber Month. What happened dyan? COVID or not, in the Philippines, we will celebrate Christmas season. Well, as long as we follow the health protocols, everything will be okay. So, ganyan lang yan. Now, let me welcome our participants. So far, we have almost 1,000 who have registered to participate in this episode. We hope you'll be able to continue to participate with us into our succeeding episodes. At the moment, we have participants coming from Azerbaijan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Thailand. And we do have Filipinos participating from KSA, or Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, New Zealand, Oman, Qatar, Singapore, South Korea, United Arab Emirates, and the US. Now, the majority of our participants in this episode are teachers and students from different state universities and colleges all over the Philippines. And of course, the UPOU. We do have teachers and administrators from the Department of Education. Some are researchers, some are nurses, and many are government employees. So, I welcome you all. Dito sa ating palatuntunan, FICS chat, katulad na nabanggit ko kanina, medyo mahirap banggitin itong pangalan na ito. Pero ang importante rito, kailangan natin na gawing medyo may pagka-informal itong programang ito at saka conversational in style. Para naman tama-tama yung dating natin, kumbaga. So, ano ba talaga bakit ba FICS chat ang tawag natin dito? Let me read the brief description of this program. It is a presentation on FB platform. Ganun kasimpleng isinulat dito. Well, dahil sa may pagka-informal ito, minarapat na tawaging chat. Kaya mayroon kayong nakikitang fireplace dyan sa likuran ko. Para bang naalala ng mga nag-isip nito siguro na noong unang panahon, noong panahon ni Roosevelt sa White House, mayroon siyang programa sa radyo na tinatawag na fireside chats. Ang kinakausap niya ng bawat kano ng panahon yon. Well, dito, fireside chat din tayo. Ang pagkakaiba lang, mayroon talaga tayong pag-uusapan na tungkol po sa thesis. Alright. Well, to those who are not Filipinos, we will try as much as possible to discuss points in the English language. And to the Filipinos, you will understand both. And we'll try to be as conversational as we can in this presentation. Now, back to our program, FICS chat. Where did we get this name, by the way? We shall try to deal with this. Now, the chat portion of the title It's an informal discussion, and so therefore we call it a chat. But why is FICS there? FICS. So the name is FICS Chat. Why is FICS there? Well, it simply means that FICS make us recall that this program is being brought to you by the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. In the UP Open University, we have three faculties: the Faculty of Education, the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies, and the Faculty of Management and Development Studies. In the future, we might have ultimately a Faculty of Medical Sciences, but I think that's way too far as of the moment, so we'll not worry about that. As we pursue our discussions in this program, we'll be as informal as possible. And like I said earlier, we shall try to use both English and Filipino. Now, we are not used to doing this because, as far as I'm concerned, personally, when I use English, I try to use English all the way, throughout. And when I use Filipino, the moment I start using Filipino, I use Filipino throughout. But in this program, we will be interchanging these two languages, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But we are willing to learn this. Now, this FB presentation, as it now goes to you, will be just like an ordinary radio presentation, ordinary radio program, okay? Like, for example, when I was still in broadcasting years ago, actually that was in the 60s, we used the radio programs, the radio, we just put on the radio near our doors, and if we are interested in what we hear, we listen. If we are not interested in what we hear, we just ignore it. This program, the FICS Chat, is exactly like that. Those who are interested in the topics that we're going to discuss may join us in the discussion. Those who do not have any interest in the topics will just have to ignore our presence. Ganun lang talaga yon. So it's just going to be like an ordinary radio program. The difference being that the FB, the FICS Chat, is on an FB platform, while the open broadcast system in other radio stations is really open broadcast. Okay, so that's how we are going to do it. In many aspects of what we are going to do in this particular program, let me try to explain the things that we can do and will do, and things that we cannot do and will not do in this broadcast, if I might call it that way. The FICS Chat is not a regular course offering of the UP Open University, because it is not a course, and it is not part of any curricular offering of the UPOU. Now, also, it is entirely possible that you will hear unusual things in the discussions here. Of course, it is also possible that you shall have discussed issues that are going to be discussed here. The chances are that what may be discussed are topics you already know or you already have known, perhaps even discussed with your academic advisors. Or they may be matters that you have heard before, or they may be matters that you'll be hearing for the first time. So these are all possible. But let me point out also that this program has identified specific topics for discussion. And the participants, we are calling the individuals who have registered to listen and view this program, we are calling them as participants. You can participate in the discussions here by way of sending your questions through our FB address. Just you can contact our staff, and they will pick up the questions that you shall have raised. The important thing that we need to discuss now, because I'd like to get this out of the way before we start on specific topics. The issue of the difference between a thesis and a dissertation. What is the difference between a thesis or a dissertation? Now remember that thesis and dissertations, insofar as the English language is concerned, they are one and the same. All books and other publications about thesis writing will refer to both thesis and dissertations as thesis, especially in Europe. European universities, they will talk about thesis. North American universities, they will talk about thesis and dissertations specifically for doctoral or doctorate students. Why is this? Okay, let me point out the difference according to the American system. Thesis and dissertation are the same. The basic difference is found here. Thesis refers to the kind of research that is being undertaken in order to satisfy the graduation requirements for a master's degree. Okay? So that is why when we talk of thesis, we're talking of the master's degree. Whereas the dissertation is the research done by doctorate students. Normally, the dissertation is in-depth. It is in-depth and it deals with original research. Now, original research is something that the Americans have identified for doctorate students. I think that differentiates the two. You know, writing the thesis is something that, well, let's put it this way. You are expected to be able to write your thesis. It's as simple as that. So, the things that you need to know in writing your thesis are things you should learn before you do your research. If you write your thesis proposal, that is actually writing the thesis outline. The proposal is really the outline. Students ask me, what's the difference? I always tell them this. When you do a good job of writing your thesis proposal, and when you have finished writing your thesis proposal, you almost have completely done 50% of your work. Because writing the proposal, oh no, what does the proposal consist of? The thesis proposal consists of what? 3 chapters. Chapter 1, introduction, where you have your research problem, etc., etc., etc. Chapter 2, which is your review of the related literature. And chapter 3, which is your methodology. If you have completed all these 3 chapters, you have practically completed 50% of your thesis. All that is left is chapter 4, which is your discussion of your results. And chapter 5, your summary, conclusions, and recommendations. So in other words, what happens is that when you're done with your thesis outline, you're done with the first 3 chapters of your 5-chapter thesis. Okay? So it's almost done. Thesis writing is easy, actually. What makes it difficult is when you do not do it. Many students complain about, I don't have time to write my thesis. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because if you don't have time to write your thesis and you don't have time for it, you are not going to write your thesis. And if you don't write your thesis, you will not earn your academic degree. It is as easy, it is as simple as that. Okay? Now, at this point, we have 3 things about FICS chat that we must all understand. 1, FICS chat does not believe that there is one correct way to write the thesis. Anybody who says the correct way of writing thesis is not telling the truth. No one correct way of writing thesis. You can write your thesis in various ways. The important thing, however, is that when people read your manuscript, they must be able to understand it. If people read your thesis and they do not understand it, you have done a lousy job of writing your thesis. Okay, 2, how you are going to write your thesis really depends largely on what your intentions are for writing the thesis. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? So it is very important that you put this aside some time, think about it, and get back to it and decide for yourself, what am I going to do with this? What is my purpose in writing this thesis? So the third thing is this. You will not learn everything you need to know about thesis writing in this chat. You will not learn everything here. Or maybe you will learn something. We hope so. But not everything. What we have been trying to deal with at the UP Open University is this. We require our students to write thesis, to do thesis, but we do not have a single course that will teach students to write thesis. Why? Because there is no single way of doing it. It is as simple as that. The FICS chat is being offered as a community service of the Faculty of Information and Communication Studies. There, by the way, I almost forgot. There's one more thing that I'd like to clarify. The participants in this FICS chat are not going to seek the assistance of the program host. Okay. Let me clarify these things. Two things here. The first one is this. If you have done some drafts of your thesis, you will not be welcome to consult me about your drafts. Second, you will also not be welcome to consult me about your thesis topic. Maybe you have some ideas what kind of research you would want to do, but you cannot come to me and ask me, what do you think should I do with this? Do you think I should do it this way? Do it that way? No, you are not welcome. What we are saying, what I am saying here now, is that all participants must first consult with their academic advisors, thesis advisors. What you learn from this FICS chat is something for you, not for your advisors. If you learn something from here, you can say, you can tell your advisors that you have considered a lot of things and want to consider the following if it is worth doing. The important thing really is that when you do your research, your advisor is interested in you doing the right thing, okay? Whether or not your research becomes larger or smaller is beside the point. The important thing is you are doing the right thing. Okay. As has been announced, this first episode of FICS Chat lays down the groundwork for what can be and what cannot be done in our program. We have not started yet. When we start, we are going to start with the first chapter of your thesis, Introduction. Okay? That is our next episode, writing the introductory chapter of your thesis. What do you do when you try to organize and write chapter 1 of your thesis? I hope by then you will still be with us and join us in the discussions there. Now, for those who want to ask questions, send your questions to our staff. Simaine is our point person here. She can receive questions from you. There may be questions that you probably will send to Ems or to Lisa. That's okay. But for now, the things that I have mentioned are really reminders to all participants of this chat. We have, like COVID, we have protocols here that we need to follow. So I hope we will be more specific next week when we meet again for episode number 2. Until then, thank you very much.